Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your kind association. Let's get started with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhukitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Ādi Gadādhara Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsamante Narayana Smritihi. The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, or perfection achieved by practice of mystic powers, or perfection achieved by the proper discharge of occupational duty. But the highest perfection for all human beings is to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, at the end of life. Ante Narayana Smritihi. Akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desires, without any material desire, or desiring liberation. Person who is really intelligent must, by all means, worship the Supreme Whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Purushottam. Aham eva samevagre Nanyadyat asatparam paschadaham yadetaccha yo vashishyeta sosmyaham. Lord's material and spiritual forms. This is Jnana. Chatushloki Bhāgavatam, the four essential verses of Bhāgavatam. First verse. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is speaking to Lord Brahma, who is the creator of this world. Brahma, it is I, Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before creation, when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, Krishna. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, personality of Godhead, Krishna. Chatushloki, verse 2, the second essential verse of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. This talks about Vijnana, Lord's different energies. Riteartham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is speaking to Lord Brahma. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relationship to me, it has no reality whatsoever. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Chatushloki 3, third essential verse. This is Rahasyam, Lord's activities along with his energies. Yatha mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chav cheshv anu pravishtani pravishtani tatha teshu na teshu aham. Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is telling Lord Brahma, O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created, and at the same time I am outside of everything. And the final fourth verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, essential verse, Chatushloki number 4, Tadangam. This talks about sadhana bhakti. Etavad eva jidnyasyam tattva jidnyasunatmanah anvaya vyatirekabhyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna is telling Lord Brahma, a person who is searching after the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord, anyone who is searching for the Supreme Lord must certainly search for the Supreme Lord up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. If we want to search somebody, we should search for the Supreme Lord. He is worth searching. And the final verse for memorization, Module 3, Bhakti Vaibhava, is Srīmad Bhāgavatam 2.10.1, the 10 topics of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utayaha manvantareshanu katha nirodho muktirashrayah. Shri Shukadev Goswami is telling Maharaj Parikshit. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following 10 topics. Creation of the universe, sub-creation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, creative impetus, change of the manus, the science of God, returning home, back to Godhead, liberation, and the samam bonam, the ultimate, that is Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shri Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Today we will continue our study of Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, entitled Pure Devotional Service, and we will begin from verse number 16. So, today I would like to invite Shama Kishori Mataji, and Aradhya Madhavi Mataji. So, Shama Kishori Mataji, you read the Sanskrit verses and the translation slowly. And Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, you read the sections of the purports that I tell you. So, text number 16, you can start, Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Vaiyasakhischa Bhagavan Vasudeva Parayanaha Dugaya Gunodaraha Satam Syurhi Samagame. Translations by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Shukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, was also full in transcendental knowledge and was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, son of Vasudeva. So there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna, who is glorified by great philosophers and in the company of great devotees.
So we are reading how Shaunak Rishi, who is representing all the other thousands of rishis who have assembled at Shri Naimisharanya Dham to hear from Shri Suta Goswami. He is showing great enthusiasm. Shaunak Rishi is showing great enthusiasm. He is asking Shri Suta Goswami, please tell us more about Maharaj Parikshit. He was such a great devotee. Savai Bhāgavato Raja, Pandaveyo Maharatha, Bala Krida Nakai Kridan, Krishna Kridam Ya Adade. From his childhood, he was Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada explains, Maharaj Parikshit was a Nitya Siddha. And now in this verse, Shri Shaunak Rishi is telling Shri Suta Goswami that Srila Shukdev Goswami, who is Vayasakhi, he is a son of Srila Vyasadeva, was filled with transcendental knowledge. He is being addressed here as Bhagavan. And he was a great devotee of Krishna, Vasudeva Parayana. And there must have been discussion between Lord Krishna, discussion of Lord Krishna. Because when great devotees come together, Samagame, Satam Samagame, they talk about Krishna. Machitta, Bodhayanta Paraspam, Kathayantaschamam Nityam, Tushyanti Charamanti. That is what happens when great devotees come. There is Krishna Gatha. There is Krishna Varta. Okay, so Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, you can read the first 3 sentences of the purport, please.
The word Satam is very important in this verse. Satam means the pure devotees who have no other desire than to serve the Lord. Only in the association of such devotees are the transcendental glories of Lord Krishna properly discussed.
Yes. So when devotees come together, there are discussions about Krishna. Because devotees don't talk prajalpa. Devotees don't talk about mundane things. Gramya katha na shunibe, gramya varta na kahibe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructed. So Mataji, 1 sentence down, as already described. You can read from there.
As already described, Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee of the Lord from his very birth, and so was Sukadev Goswami. Both of them were on the same level, although it appeared that Maharaj Parikshit was a great king accustomed to royal facilities, whereas Sukadev Goswami was a typical renouncer of the world, so much so that he did not even put a cloth on his body.
So, Grihe Thako, Vane Thako, Sada Hari Bole Dako. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, whether one is a Grihastha or whether one is a sannyasi, one should always chant Hare Krishna. One should always chant Hari Nam. Then there is no difference. Anyone can become a pure devotee. In the Varnashram system, there are 8 different statuses total. 4 Varnas, 4 ashrams. Anyone can become a pure devotee. There is no restriction. It's a matter of the heart. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gunayar bhakti priya madhava. Only devotion is dear to Krishna, and Krishna can be satisfied only by devotion. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam. Not other qualities. Nacha gunaya. Bhakti priya madhava. Only bhakti is dear to our Madhava. So anyone can become a pure devotee. Here, Srila Prabhupada is saying that Maharaj Parikshit was a Grihastha, he was a Kshatriya, and Shukdev Goswami was a sannyasi. He was a Naishtik Brahmachari, Bal Brahmachari. Whereas Parikshit Maharaj had children, he had wife, he wore royal clothes. He didn't live in the forest like Shukdev Goswami. He lived in the very comfortable palace. But what does Srila Prabhupada say? Both were on the same level. Both were pure devotees. You see? Both were pure devotees. So many examples are there. Can you give me some examples of Grihastha devotees who are pure devotees according to Srīmad Bhāgavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita? Raise your hands, please. Yes, Sharanagat Mataji.
So Janak Maharaj is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita.
Wonderful example, Janak Maharaj. Superb example from Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Gita Mataji, another example.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sudamaji.
Very nice. Sudamaji was a Grihastha. He had wife and he was a Grihastha and he was still a pure devotee. Very dear.
And Ambarish Maharaj.
And Ambarish Maharaj also. Very nice example. Gaurchandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Prabhuji from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srivas Thakur.
Wow, Srivas Thakur. Wonderful. Satyarva Mataji and Janani Mataji, you have to give two examples because you are both.
Prabhuji, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Prabhuji, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Saptam Goswami. See, 7th Goswami. First 6 Goswamis were all Babajis. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Grihastha, but still he was considered a 7th Goswami. Yes, and one more, Janani Mataji. A Grihastha who was a pure devotee.
Nityananda Prabhu.
Jai Ho, Nityananda Ram. Yes, Amrit Gaurani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Vidura.
Vidurji, yes. Shama Vallavi Mataji, very good.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
Wow, Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Jai Ho. And very nice. Shanta Radhika Mataji. Shanta Radhika Mataji. Some example of a Grihastha, pure devotee. Okay, Kamal Gopika Mataji.
So, Prabhuji, out of 9 Mahajan, most of them were the Grihastha, like Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj is a
Janak
Grihastha.
Maharaj.
Very nice.
Dhruv Maharaj means.
Dhruv Maharaj is not among the Mahajans, but yes, Dhruv Maharaj was a Mahabhagavat. Very nice. He was a Grihastha. Good example. Narahari Prabhu.
Shivananda Sen from the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Maharaj Yudhishthira from the Bhagavatam.
Jai Ho. Jai Ho. Very nice. Excellent. So thank you, dear devotees. All of you gave very wonderful examples. So now, Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, you can start reading, continue from where you are reading.
Superficially, Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadev Goswami might seem to be opposites, but basically they were both unalloyed pure devotees of the Lord. When such devotees are assembled together, there can be no topics save discussions of the glories of the Lord or Bhakti Yoga.
Okay, good. So when devotees come, Prabhupada says, other than topics of Krishna, Bhakti Yoga, there can be no other discussion. So we should remember this. Then you go down one sentence, Mataji, the use of the word cha.
The use of the word cha after Vyasakhi suggests, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, that both Sukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit were of the same category, settled long before, although one was playing the part of the master and the other the disciple.
Yes. So here, one is playing the role of a guru. One is playing the role of a disciple. One is asking questions. One is answering questions. But factually, both are pure devotees. So, Narhari Prabhu, some reflection on this. What can we learn from this?
When pure devotees come together, then, there is explosion of Krishna consciousness. So that is one aspect that we can understand.
Yes, very nice. Can you give some example from Srīmad Bhāgavatam where there is a conversation between two great souls and there is explosion of Krishna Katha? There are many examples in Bhāgavatam. Many conversations are there. Bhāgavatam is a conversation within conversation within conversation. So tell one conversation other than the one between Shaunakadi Rishis and Suta Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami, some other conversation in Bhāgavatam where two great devotees are talking and there is explosion.
Yes, Prabhu. So in the third canto, when Uddhava, he meets Maitreya and Vidura, so there is a description of the entire condensed in a short format of the Krishna
Yes.
pastimes in the third canto.
Yes, Uddhavji meeting with Vidur, and Vidurji later on being sent by Uddhav to meet Maitreya Muni.
Maitreya, yes.
Very nice, very nice. So yes, this is what we can learn, that when great devotees come, there is explosion of Krishna consciousness. So Narhari Deva Prabhu said, when great devotees come together, there is explosion of Krishna consciousness. So what should we do? When great devotees come together, we should run there.
Yeah.
Where there is sadhu sangha, we should run to hear what great souls are talking. And some will get. So I'm going to put one third person also. So now we have Shama Kishori Mataji and Aradhya Madhavi Mataji. They are doing the reading. And then every class I will put one more devotee. Like today it is Narhari Deva Prabhu, who I will pick on. He has to speak. He or she has to speak. So Narhari Deva Prabhu, you said a very good point. You gave nice example from the third canto. Tell me something from the life of Maitreya Muni as described in Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Was he the recipient of some explosion? Did he happen to be somewhere where there was an explosion going on?
Yeah.
How did he become a pure devotee?
So he just so happened to meet Uddhava, and yes, Prabhu. So
and Uddhava was speaking to Krishna.
Krishna,
And
yes.
Krishna was giving Updesh. And Maitreya Muni was just a bystander. He heard and then he became so qualified that he could instruct Vidur. This is the effect of hearing Bhagavad Gita, the words of Bhagavan. Very nice connection, Narhari Deva Prabhu. So, Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, you can continue. Sure. No, you read that. Same category. Okay, continue.
Since Lord Krishna is the center of the topics, the word Vasudev Parayanaha, or devotee of Vasudev, suggests devotee of Lord Krishna, the common aim. Although
so Vasudeva Parayana, a similar phrase comes, Narhari Deva Prabhu, anything similar comes in Bhagavatam many times. Vasudeva Parayana, instead of Vasudeva, another name of Krishna comes and Parayana follows.
Narayana Parayana.
And see, it fits in Anushtup because both are 4 syllables.
Yes.
Vasudeva and Narayana. So like that. So we can remember like that. Okay. It suggests that somebody who is a devotee of Krishna. Narayana Parayana or Vasudeva Parayana means a great devotee. Okay. Now, Shama Kishore Mataji, read the 17th verse, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Ayurharati Vaipumsam Udyan Astam Chayan Asau Tasyarte Akshano Nita Uttama Shloka Vartaya.
Very important verse, worth memorizing. It's not in the memorization verses, but ultimate verse.
Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead.
Okay, so now Shama Kishori Mataji, I want you to look at the previous verse that you read, 16th verse, 17th verse. One glance, give an overview. What is happening here? What is Bhagavatam telling us?
So Bhagavatam is telling us that when devotees meet each other, they always talk about Krishna, they discuss his pastimes and glorify him.
Wonderful.
And only one who does this, who discusses topics of Krishna, his duration of life is not impacted by the rising and setting sun. So he actually utilizes his time wisely.
Correct. It's not that if we discuss Krishna Katha, we will have a long duration of life. Not like that. But if we discuss Krishna Katha, our time is being properly utilized, like you said rightly. We are not wasting time. And if we are doing anything else not related to Krishna, then we are simply wasting our time. Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, please read the first 2-3 sentences of the purport.
This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by acceleration of devotional service.
Okay, so Mataji, explain the sentence in simple language. What is Prabhupada saying? Prabhupada is saying 2-3 things. So go phrase by phrase and break it down and explain. What is the message?
Okay. So it's a confirmation about the importance of utilizing our human form of life. That we
what is the purpose of human form of life according to this sentence? What should we do in human form of life?
realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord.
Isn't that beautiful? Prabhupada is talking such deep Siddhanta. Prabhupada is saying we have to re-establish our relationship with God. Yes, please go on. And how to do that?
By accelerating devotional service.
Isn't that beautiful? Explain that, Mataji.
Meaning you try to do, 24/7, you try to do devotional service with pure intention.
Right. We should not be complacent. It's okay, I finished my rounds. Now, Netflix. No, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta. We want Krishna or no? Or we want to be here in this world? There will always be distractions. 50 years ago, was there Netflix? Janani Mataji? 50 years ago, was there Netflix or whatever, internet? No. Now there is. 50 years from now, there will be something else. But 50 years ago, also there was Raj Kapoor and all those Bollywood, those things were there. Na? Bollywood was there. Always in Kali Yuga, there will be some distraction. The details, the forms, names will change, but people will be distracted. It may be politics, it may be sports. First, people used to sit 5 days to watch test game. 5 days, they would leave office and sit and watch. Now we have become more contaminated in Kali Yuga. Now we are restless, cannot sit. We want 2020. Fatafat chalo. Usme highlights. So entertainment is there. There is streaming, fast Wi-Fi, everything is there. So the details keep changing, but material energy will always find ways to distract us away from Krishna. And that is exactly what the mind wants. Somehow the mind will allow us to finish our 16 rounds. And then the mind will say, come on, you have a good devotee. You have finished your rounds. Now take a break. Enjoy. And then all the bhajan that we have done, it gets covered. Because we are getting bad impressions from the movies, from the internet browsing that we are doing. And then when we sit to chant japa, 2 things will happen. You can write this down. 100% guaranteed. Either you will remember what you have seen on the internet when you browsed, or you will simply not be able to remember Krishna. Your japa will be lost. It will be inattentive. You will not come to know, 16 rounds are done. I never remembered Krishna in the 16 rounds. I didn't remember any Leela. I didn't remember any quality of Krishna. I didn't remember the form of Krishna. I did not offer any prayer to Krishna. Just mechanically, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ela Aragela. Came and went. 16 rounds are done. That is exactly what the mind wants. It somehow wants to spoil our bhajan. Because the mind is friend or enemy. Enemy, right now enemy. But when the mind becomes controlled, then it becomes friend. Then Mama Mana Mandira. Raho Nishidine. Day and night, Krishna will be there in our heart. Okay. So that is the thing. Aradhya Madhavi is saying we have to accelerate our devotional service. If we are going at 20 miles an hour, no, come on. We have to go 70 miles an hour. We have to go 70. We have to accelerate. Don't be slow. We can reach Krishna faster. Why go slow? Hai na? Bhajan ko badhao. So good. So time and tide, Mataji.
Time and tide wait for no man. So the time indicated by the sunrise and the sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized.
Okay.
Utilizing.
Narharidev, Prabhu,
Yes.
I want you to give a purport to time and tide wait for no man in connection to the first sentence, where Prabhupada is talking about the purpose of human life.
Yes, Prabhu. So the purpose of the human life is to revive our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. And, we are given, according to our karma, we are this rare Nirdehamadyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram maya kulena nabhaspateritam humanavabdin nataretsa atmaha. So in the 11th canto, this description is given that this human form of life is automatically achieved, but it is very rare. And we are given a very short period of time.
Yes.
And in this time, if we don't utilize our time properly for understanding our relationship with the Supreme Lord, then that we are Atmaha, we are the killers of our own soul because we wasted that very rare form.
Wasted the opportunity. We are at the platform. We know which train we have to take to Mathura Vrindavan. Distracted, talking, buying chana, and the train came and went. Now we are waiting in Bombay, Maya Nagari. No, we could have taken the train and gone to Vrindavan. So we should not waste this time. The train will be there for 15 minutes. That's it. On the platform. You are on the platform, train is on the platform, just get in. It's an opportunity. Similarly, human form of life is an opportunity. Time and tide wait for none. Suppose somebody gets a heart attack and dies suddenly. That's the time he had or she had, whether it is 50 years, 55 years. If you don't do bhajan, tivrana bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param, you don't worship Krishna with tivrata, with intensity, you don't accelerate your devotional service, then that's it. Your time is out. Now come on, come out. It's a loaned car. It's a rental car, Baba. It's not something you can keep forever. Rental car mila hai. To fatafat jitna time hai, we don't know how much time we have. Utilize it. It's like a servant we have got. This servant is going to quit anytime without notice. But now the servant is here, given by Krishna. Kaam karao. Take care of the servant, feed the servant, keep the servant healthy. But usko bilkul bahut kaam karao. Jitna ho sake extract out of this servant called human body. It's a yantra, like a car. Yantra rudhani maya. Utilize this machine, this servant called the human body, because it is going to go one day. It is going to leave us. Dhoka dene wala hai. If you know servant is going to quit without notice, he has no 90-day notice, nothing. He is going to give 1 minute notice, even not that. When you get an accident, there's not even 1 minute notice. So this body is a servant who is going to quit the job without any notice and just go. We will never be able to get work done from it again. But now that we have it, we should utilize every moment to come closer and closer to Krishna, because this servant is very good. What this servant can do, nobody can do. No other servant can do. बहुत बढ़िया servant है, but बदमाश है. छोड़ के भागने वाला है. तो उसको पकड़ लो. अभी है, काम कराओ. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. क्या काम कराना है? आराध्य माधवी माता जी, what work we have to get it done from this servant? Give him 9 orders. Give him 9 orders. What 9 orders you will give?
Shravan Kirtan Vishnu.
Jai ho,
Yeah.
Jai ho, Jai ho. Engage in these 9 activities, this servant who is going to quit. Okay? So very nice. Excellent. So read from human life.
Human life is simply awarded to a living entity, Jiva, so that he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness.
Anandamaya bhyasa is the nature of the soul, but we don't know where the permanent happiness is. But in this human form of life, if we hear Sadhu Guru Shastra, we can find the permanent source of happiness. That is Krishna, who is Ananda Vigraha, Satchid Ananda Vigraha. And then we become Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Na sochati na kamchati. Okay, go ahead, Mataji. Next page. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.40.
Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.40, the Lord has explained such contact in the following words. Endeavors in devotional service are never baffled, nor is there failure. A slight beginning of such activities is sufficient even to deliver a person from the great ocean of material fears.
Okay. So who can tell me which verse this is? Quickly raise your hand. Shama Vallavi Mataji.
Is it Prabhuji neha vikramanasosti pratyavayo navidhyate salpamapyasya dharmasitra iti madhubhayat?
Very beautiful. I feel like jumping up and down when I hear such wonderful nectar flowing from all of your lotus mouths. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Continue, Aradhya Madhavi Mataji. But, no, wait. Where are we? Yeah, continue. As highly.
As a highly potent drug injected intravenously acts as once on the whole body, the transcendental topics of the Lord injected through the ear of the pure devotee of the Lord can act very efficiently.
Yes, this is very important. So if you want to give a medicine in emergency, you give it IV, intravenous, Prabhupada says. Prabhupada also is a pharmacist. He knows the science. If you give it IV, it goes directly in the bloodstream. It is immediately effective. When you take a pill, it goes to the mouth, through the esophagus, into the stomach, then the small bowel, it gets broken down by the digestive enzymes, then it gets absorbed in the blood, then it acts. But if you give it IV, zoop, straight, it's in your blood, immediately effective. So if we hear here and there, not from pure devotees, it will take time. But if you hear Bhagavatam from a person Bhagavat, from a Bhakta Bhagavat, you hear Grantha Bhagavat, then it is immediately effective. So now I want you all to tell me few examples of how hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is immediately effective, quickly effective when heard from a pure devotee. Please give me some example. Raise your hands, please. Shama Kishori Mataji, co-host Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Gokarna and his brother Dundukari, I think, or maybe I'm getting the name wrong.
Dundukari got it first, although he was so sinful because he had intensity. He was Ugra Shrava. Yes, very good. Mukta Sangha Prabhu.
So, for the second time, 4 Kumaras spoke Bhagavatam and Bhakti Jnana, Vairagya. So they got revived by hearing from 4 Kumaras.
Who?
From 4 Kumaras, Chatsumar.
Who heard?
Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya, all 3 heard.
Okay, Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya. Okay. Nice, very nice example. Anyone else? Some example of someone who heard from a pure source and it was quickly effective. Krishna Katha. Satyarma Mataji and Janani Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can we take the example of Devahuti Mataji and Kapila Muni?
Who they heard from?
Kapila Muni.
Devahuti Mataji heard from her son, Kapila Dev, Bhagwan Kapil Dev. Yes. Very nice example. Sharanagat Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Can we take an example of Prahlad Maharaj listening?
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Superb example. Shantaradhika Mataji. We can't hear Mataji. Have you put headphones or something, Mataji? We cannot hear you. No? We can't hear Mataji. You try to unmute. In the meantime, Vamshi Vadan Prabhu, some example of highly effective Harikatha from pure devotee.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The example of Uddhava hearing from the gopis in Vrindavan.
Jai ho. Oh, आपने सिक्सर मार दिया. Very nice. Amrit Gauranga Mataji.
Will the example of Ratnakar hearing from Narad Muni help?
Now Amrit Gauranga Mataji has opened the box, Narad Muni box. Narad Muni spoke to many people effectively, and all of them became pure devotees. Very nice, very nice. Okay, Meenakshi Vrajagopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shuka Parakvat from Lord Shiva.
Yes, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan explains that story. Yes, very nice. So in this way, there are many examples, my dear friends, where when heard from pure devotees, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, last example.
Chakra Madhai from Gaurnikai.
They heard or they saw Chakra? Yes. They actually heard. Mahaprabhu preached to them, chastised them, preached to them. So very true. Also, we have the example of His Divine Grace, Srila Abhayacharana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Dina hena yata chilo hariname uddharile. He came to the West, people who knew nothing about Krishna, just by hearing from Srila Prabhupada, it was like an IV medicine. They could not understand Prabhupada's English, Prabhupada's accent. Prabhupada was from a completely different culture, and he's preaching to these young American boys and girls, and their hearts are transforming. They are surrendering their life to Srila Prabhupada, becoming his initiated disciples. That's an example of the potency. Prabhupada is very humble. He's not writing his example, but his example is so prominent. Okay? So then you go to the next paragraph, the materialistic way of life. Aradhya Madhavi Mataji.
The materialistic way of pious activities like charity.
One second. So this paragraph is very important. Mataji will read the whole paragraph. Please listen very carefully, okay? Mataji will read slowly.
Okay. The materialistic way of pious activities like charity is recommended in the Smrita Sastras as quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. Money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. Such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahmana. If the money is given in charity to a non-Brahmana without Brahmanical qualification, the money is returned in the next life in the same proportion. If it's given in charity to a half-educated Brahmana, even then the money is returned double. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmana, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraga, one who has factually realized the path of the Vedas, it is returned by unlimited multiplication. The ultimate end of Vedic knowledge is realization of the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedescha Sarver Aham Veda Vedya, Aham Eva Vedya. There is a guarantee of monies being returned if given in charity, regardless of the proportion. Similarly, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord is a perfect guarantee for eternal life, for returning home back to Godhead.
Did everybody understand? What guarantees going back to Godhead?
A moment association with the by hearing and chanting from a pure devotee.
Yes. Moment association with a pure devotee, hearing and chanting. Guarantees. Moment association. Narharidev Prabhu, example of this?
Lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy.
Yes. Sadhu sangha sarva shastra hoy. Lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy. Can someone give example of someone who had very short association, but it bore fruit? Pure devotee. My dear Gopa Vrindapal Prabhu. Please go ahead. Dhruv Maharaj. Very short, no? Few moments he got with Narad Muni, and he got his bhajan paddhati, he got everything, his mantra, and he got Krishna with that. Very nice. Shanta Radhika Mataji?
Khatwang Maharaj.
Khatwang Maharaj perfected his life within a moment. Yes, within a moment. Very nice, Mataji. Kamala Gopika Mataji?
Our dear Srila Prabhupada.
Hari Bol. Yes, Ulta Danga Junction Road. Yes. Very nice. Very nice example. Jai Ho. Okay. So now continue, Mataji.
Madkama gatva punarjanma na vidyate. In other words, a devotee of the Lord is guaranteed eternal life. A devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life.
A devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus. Is that in your book?
Yes.
Such guaranteed eternal life. So, Narhari Dev Prabhu, I want you to reflect on the last sentence. What does it mean? Think of Kadambakanand Swami Maharaj.
I was just about to
Huh.
think I had Maharaj and also Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj's example. So in the beginning of this purport, it is explained that that time and tide wait for no person, and we have to use every moment to realize or revive our lost relationship. And here in the last sentence, Prabhupada is ending that old age and disease should be an impetus. So we know that we have to quit this body, and the example you gave, that the rental car is going to go away. So we have to go as fast as we can towards our destination, use it, completely Sharanagat, right? So use it.
On this rental car, the time is limited, but there are unlimited miles.
Unlimited.
Yes. So a devotee's old age or disease in the present life is an impetus to go to Vaikuntha, guaranteed eternal life. What do you think of Mad Dham Gatva Punarjanmana Vidyate? Have you heard this anywhere? Prabhupada is writing it. Where is it coming from?
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
So some words, Prabhupada has mixed two verses, but the message is the same.
Yeah.
Meaning is same, message is same.
Yes.
Yad Gatva Na Nivartante Tad Dham Paramam. Or Mamupetya Punarjanma Dukhalayama Shashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatma Samsiddhim Paramam Gata. Or Yam Prapya Na Nivartante Tad Dhama Paramam Mama. Or Punarjanma Na Vidyate. That verse is there. So like that, some words are mixed, but it's Bhagavad Gita and same message. Shama Kishori Mataji, verse number 18, please.
Saravaha kimna jivanti, vastraha kimna shvasantyut uta, na khadanti na mehanti kim grame pashavo apare. Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us, do the beasts not eat and discharge semen?
Mataji, read the first two sentences of the purport, please.
The materialistic man of the modern age will argue that life, or part of it, is never meant for discussion of theosophical or theological arguments. Life is meant for the maximum duration of existence, for eating, drinking, sexual intercourse, making merry, and enjoying life.
So what Prabhupada is saying is the materialistic person will argue that life is not meant for bhakti, life is not meant for bhajan, life is not meant for austerities, life is meant for
eating, drinking, sexual intercourse, and making merry.
Yeah, just enjoy material sense gratification. Okay, so now skip one sentence and go to but the Srīmad Bhāgavatam.
But the Srīmad Bhāgavatam affirms that life is not meant for so-called economic development or advancement of materialistic science, for the hedonistic philosophy of eating, mating, drinking, and merrymaking. Life is solely meant for tapasya, for purifying existence so that one may enter into eternal life just after the end of the human form of life.
Very good. Life is solely meant for tapasya, for purifying existence. Narahari Dev Prabhu, kaun sa verse?
Nayam deho deha bhajam nirloke kashtan kaman arhate tat vibhujam me tapo divyam putra kayena satam shuddhyate yasmat brahma saukyam anantam.
Jai ho, jai ho. Very nice. Very nice. This is how we should do. We should read Prabhupada's beautiful words, and we should remember words of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Now, Mataji, turn the page. In the Calcutta Botanical Garden, few sentences down. in the Calcutta Botanical Garden, there is a banyan tree. Set in the same purport, Mataji, before Swami Shankaracharya, Lord Chaitanya. Okay, I will read. In the Calcutta Botanical Garden, there is a banyan tree said to be older than 500 years. You got it?
Yeah. And there are many such trees all over the world. Swami Shankaracharya lived only 32 years, and Lord Chaitanya lived 48 years. Does it mean that the prolonged lives of the above-mentioned trees are more important than Sankara or Chaitanya?
So see, now even in here, California, there are those redwood trees, sequoia trees, which are, some of them are many hundreds years old, some are even a few thousand years old, 1,000 years, 2,000-year-old trees. They have been alive in the same body. Whereas there are some devotees who may live for less years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. But their lives are filled with Krishna consciousness. They are preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada. So their life is more successful. In short, a long duration of life is not so important. Some human being, maybe materialistic, live for 90 years. But that is not very creditable. What is more creditable is how much bhajan we have done. Someone has lived 90 years and not chanted even 100 rounds. Someone has lived for only 15, 20 years, but has chanted many rounds. Whose life is more meaningful? The one who has done bhajan. Jai bhaja sai bada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Ante Leela. One who does bhajan is big. Okay, the Bhāgavatam says, two sentences down, the Bhāgavatam says
that the bellows of the blacksmith breathes very soundly, but that does not mean that the bellows has life. The materialist will argue that life in the tree and life in the man cannot be compared because the tree cannot enjoy life by eating palatable dishes or by enjoying sexual intercourse. In reply to this, the Bhāgavatam asks whether other animals like the dogs and hogs living in the same village with human beings do not eat and enjoy sexual life.
Mataji, can you explain these two sentences? So the materialist, I'm telling you, Mataji, why are you giving examples of these trees and the, cannot compare them because the trees cannot eat rasgulla, but I can enjoy my life eating rasgullas and chocolate and so many things. So why are you giving that example? So what will you say?
We have ability to do devotional activities, and like dogs and hogs and all those tree life will not have that opportunity like the human lives have.
That is true. What Prabhupada is saying here though is that, so basically, if you tell me about the trees, that Prabhu, the trees live very long, but that is not so important. It is, a human being who has more bhajan, done more bhajan, his life is more successful. Then I'll tell you, why are you giving example of trees? My life is not like tree, the redwood tree standing in one place for 2,000 years. No, I'm enjoying, I'm going to pubs, I'm drinking alcohol, I'm enjoying a lot of nice things, driving fast cars. I'm happy. So I'm going to enjoy materialistically. What is your argument? Why should I do bhajan? Convince me to do bhajan. So whatever enjoyments I told, eating nice food, enjoying nice sex life, enjoying nice comfortable life, a tree may not enjoy that. But Prabhupada is saying animals like dogs and hogs are enjoying. They are enjoying. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Ahar, nidra, bhai, maithun. This even the animals are doing. But are they tasting the bliss of Krishna consciousness? No. So our answer should be that we have done that. Many of us devotees who were not born in devotee families, we have enjoyed, broken all the regulative principles. But now we realize that this bhajan ananda, this taste of Krishna consciousness is much better than eating, sleeping, mating and defending. That's why we have minimized that and we are trying to maximize Krishna consciousness. So our argument with them should be that this is experiential. थोड़ा आके देखो, taste करके देखो. You have not eaten in this restaurant, so how can you judge? Come eat here. We are giving you very nice 5-star review, Google review. This is very nice. Come and taste it. You have not tasted. तुम बाहर खड़े रह के बोलते हो कि अच्छा नहीं है. अंदर आओ, थोड़ा chanting करो, ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में थोड़ा संकीर्तन करो, यात्रा पे चलो, कृष्ण प्रसाद खाओ, make friendship with devotees, and then see what happens. Hare Krishna. Then Krishna will take over your life. Okay. So continue.
The specific utterance of Srīmad Bhāgavatam in regard to other animals means that persons who are simply engaged in planning a better type of animal life, consisting of eating, breathing, and mating, are also animals in the shape of form of human beings.
Pashava apare, in the verse it is said. They are only in the, they are two-legged animals basically. Dvipada Pashu. Okay, text 19, Shama Kishore Mataji.
Vavidvarahushtra kharai samstutah purushah pashuhu nayat karna pathopeto jatu nama gadagrajaha. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils.
Shama Kishore Mataji, Srīmad Bhāgavatam is meant for Paramhamsas, right? Yes or no?
It is meant for everyone.
Everyone. Why such harsh language is being used, Mataji? What is this? Even my boss doesn't speak to me like this.
I think sometimes sadhus have to use harsh language to wake us up from the slumber that we are in. As you know, Vidura had done that to Dhritarashtra, just to make him aware of his stark situation. I am forgetting the word for that.
Very good. In Mahabharata it is said, listen carefully, the sadhu has a tongue like a razor, cuts, but has a heart as soft as butter. Whereas a diplomat or a politician, a materialistic person, has tongue soft like butter, but the heart is like a razor. Ruthless. Ruthless. So very nice. Good argument. I like that. So now, these harsh words are used in Srīmad Bhāgavatam, previous verse number 19 also, but we need it because that is the reality. To tell a diabetic person whose A1C is 15 that your diabetes is terribly out of control, the patient cannot say, you're blaspheming me, you're criticizing me. No, it's a fact. It's a fact. We need to hear that. Okay, so purport. Mataji, read the general mass of people.
The general mass of people, unless they are trained systematically for a higher standard of life in spiritual values, are no better than animals, and in this verse, they have particularly been put on the level of dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Modern university education practically prepares one to acquire a doggish mentality with which to accept the service of a greater master.
Last sentence of the paragraph, as dogs are negligible animals.
As dogs are negligible animals and serve the master faithfully for bits of bread, a man serves a master faithfully without sufficient rewards.
Yeah. So in this verse, as Shama Kishore Mataji read, Shri Shukdev Goswami, no, actually these words are being spoken by Shaunaka Rishis, right? Shaunaka Rishi is speaking these words to Suta Goswami. So our Shaunaka Rishi is saying that men who never listen to Krishna Katha, they don't hear the name of Krishna, Krishna Katha, Krishna Gun, Krishna Lila. They are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada is in the purport going to explain each animal. How we, if we don't hear Krishna Katha, are like those animals. So in the first paragraph, Prabhupada spoke about dogs. How general people who are not interested in Krishna consciousness are dogs. Narahari Dev Prabhu, explain. How a materialistic man is like a dog.
Yes, Prabhu. So there is actually a very famous lecture by Prabhupada on this verse. And the title of this lecture is called Dogs, Hogs, Camels, and Asses. It's a mind-blowing lecture. I will have to listen to this once again. Thank you for bringing this up. The point here is a dog is always faithful to the master, but the dog only gets very little remuneration, right? Like just like a few pieces of bread, like Prabhupada is giving. So the modern education is geared up in such a way that we become like these doggish mentality, like factory workers, right? Modern education is basically Shudra type. So you just work hard and then you're just given little. So that's basically what the purport Prabhupada is trying to emphasize.
And we are like dogs who have taken on useless masters, so are not worth taking shelter of. Whereas we should become dog. But whose dog?
Krishna.
O Vaishnava Thakur, Ami Tomara Kukur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Tumita Thakur, Amita Kukur. You are my master, I am your dog. Kabira Kutta Ram Ka, Motiya Mera Naam. So we have to become dog. But whose dog? That is the question. We want to become Krishna's dog. With this as the dog belt, neck belt. Kantiwala. Prabhupada said. So like that. So that is dog. We are serving faithfully wrong masters. Our mind. Mind is a dog. There is another dog, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells. Who is that dog? Big dog. Kali. Kali Kukura Kala. We have to not serve the different masters like our senses, like the corporate world in this current society. What values are they teaching us? Nothing. Dog eat dog mentality. So we have to serve our Guru and we have to serve Krishna. We have to become their faithful dog. Okay? Mata, you read persons who have no discrimination.
Persons who have no discrimination in the matter of foodstuff and who eat all sorts of rubbish are compared to hogs. Hogs are very much attached to eating stools.
Yeah. So if we don't eat Krishna Prasad, pure Sattvic Krishna Prasad, then we are compared to hogs. Hogs, they have no discrimination. They will eat anywhere. Jivhara lalasai, iti uti dhai. To satisfy the tongue, they go here and there. They will eat stool also. So people who don't eat Krishna Prasad, they are compared to hogs. But the human being is not meant. Read that.
But the human being is not meant for eating everything and anything. He is meant to eat grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, sugar, etc. Animal food is not meant for human being.
Yeah. In the supermarket also there is a dog food kept separately. Human food is separate. So we should have discrimination. It is known, one sentence down, it is known.
It is known to everyone that one man's food is another man's poison.
So in the previous sentence, read the previous sentence, the human being.
The human being is endowed with two canine teeth as a concession for persons who will eat animal food at any cost.
There will be some human beings, they will eat meat. Always in society, there will be some people who will want to eat meat. Everybody cannot be a devotee. Everybody cannot, although Jivara Swarup hai Krishna and Nityadas, but everybody cannot be in their Swarup. People will be covered over by modes of material nature, karma. So they will be eating meat, and there are facilities in the Vedas. You offer it to Durga Devi on Amavasya night, sacrifice, not cows, certain specific animals. So they will eat. So for that, two canine teeth are there. But otherwise, our teeth are like a herbivorous animal, not like a carnivorous animal, like a tiger or a lion or a wolf. So One man's food is another man's poison. McDonald's is a treat for some people. Would all of you like to go? If I say, let's have our Bhakti Vaibhava meet, get together at McDonald's. What should you all do? Report me to Mayapur Institute. Ādi Gadādhara Dāsa fall down. So yeah, it may be eaten by millions of people all over the world, all this restaurant food, especially the restaurants that serve meat. But for a devotee who wants to make advancement, it is poison. Sometimes, of course, because of children, they want to eat, we may take them to a vegetarian restaurant, vegan restaurant sometimes. But that is not the rule, it is an exception. Sometimes, so the children don't feel left out. We may go get them some ice cream, something, and that's okay. But we should still mentally offer that before we eat. It's vegetarian, so we should offer it mentally to Krishna. We should not eat anything without offering. So one who doesn't discriminate eating is compared to a hog. Next paragraph, the camel.
The camel is a kind of animal that takes pleasure in eating thorns. A person who wants to enjoy family life or the worldly life of so-called enjoyment is compared to the camel.
Yeah, so there is a very nice story in Prabhupada Memories. One Prabhupada disciple mentions it. Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan is not very far from Rajasthan border. So actually some part of Chaurasi Kos Vrindavan comes in Rajasthan. Kamyavan and all there in Rajasthan. So there were some camels who had come to Vrindavan, and Prabhupada was on parikrama with some devotees. There were camels. So these Western devotees are fascinated to see camels. They had never seen a camel in America. So they're looking at this camel, and the camel was eating some thorny bush. So Srila Prabhupada pointed out and said, see that camel is eating those thorny bush, and those thorns actually cut the tongue and the inside of the mouth of the camel, and there is bleeding. And because of bleeding, there is some rus taste, and the camel thinks that this thorn is very tasty. So Prabhupada said that this is like the grahasthas, who are enjoying family life. So one Prabhupada disciple said, Prabhupada, you mean Griha Medhi, right? Because he was a grahastha. He said, Prabhupada, you meant Griha Medhis, right? Not grahastha. So Prabhupada said, no. For you, Griha Medhis, when you look at the camel, you should think Griha Medhis. But when a sannyasi looks at a camel, sannyasi thinks Grihastha. Because there is some sense gratification even in the Grihasthas. At least we live in a house. We may sleep on a bed. We may eat 3 times a day. Sannyasi may just eat once or twice a day. So Grihastha is good, but Prabhupada said, for you Grihasthas, you should see Griha Medhi. But a sannyasi sees Grihasthas. Because a sannyasi doesn't want to get married. So like that. It depends. One man's food is another man's poison. Same principle. Okay, continue, Mataji. The central point of attraction. 2 sentences down.
The central point of attraction for material enjoyment is sex life. To enjoy sex life is to suck one's own blood, and there is not much more to be explained in this connection. The camel also sucks its own blood while chewing thorny twigs.
Yeah, so that is the point. That the most advertised, spoken about sense gratification in the human form of life is sexual intercourse. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that is like sucking one's own blood. Because when we lose our brahmacharya, we lose opportunity to make spiritual progress. Our deha abhiman becomes more nourished. Our misidentification with this body as a man or a woman becomes more deeply ingrained in our consciousness every time we have sex. Because it is committed, it is performed on the false identification that I am a male body or I am a female body. That's what Prabhupada is saying. And our blood is meant to be utilized in the service of Krishna. But if it is used in our own service of our own senses for selfish sense enjoyment, then we are simply shedding our own blood, like the camel is shedding its own blood for some taste, for some enjoyment. According to Ayurveda, large amount of blood is required to make one drop of semen. And when that semen is retained in the human body, it maintains our purity, it increases our spiritual inclination, increases our spiritual memory, Smaran Shakti, and brings us closer and closer to Krishna. Brings us spiritual happiness when the semen is retained. But if we just keep losing it, then it will have deleterious effects on our spiritual health. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Losing blood is not good. So which men are compared to that? Go couple of sentences down with this. Similarly, the great business magnates.
Similarly, the great business magnates, industrialists who work very hard to earn money by different ways and questionable means, eat the thorny results of their actions mixed with their own blood. Therefore, the Bhagavatam has situated these diseased fellows along with the camels.
Yeah, Prabhupada is so poetic, no? Kavi. He says, similarly, this corporate people who earn money by questionable means, they eat the thorny results of their actions mixed with their own blood. Avashyameva bhuktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham. Okay. And then you go to this next paragraph. The ass.
The ass is an animal who is celebrated as the greatest fool, even amongst the animals. The ass works very hard and carries burdens of the maximum weight without making profit for itself.
So now go to, and the next sentence, and the special qualification. Ass is the greatest fool. And the special qualification of the ass.
The special qualification of the ass is that it is very much accustomed to being kicked by the opposite sex. When the ass begs for sexual intercourse, he is kicked by the fair sex, yet he still follows the female for such sexual pleasure. A henpecked man is compared, therefore, to the ass. The general mass of people.
We saw dog, we saw hog. Dog means to have a useless master, faithfully serve useless materialistic master. Hog means to eat something that is not pure Krishna Prasad. Camel means to either earn money by illicit means, unfair means, questionable means, make a lot of profit in this corporate world, capitalistic society. Or camel also means one who enjoys sexual intercourse. Because sexual intercourse has to be given up by all devotees. Following brahmacharya is absolutely essential if we want to ever enter Golok Vrindavan. We have to become brahmacharis, men, women, everyone. Brahmacharis, grihasthas, vanaprasthas, sannyas, everyone. Sexual intercourse is very much for a specific purpose, to beget children and nothing else. Of course, this is difficult, but we should try to follow this principle as much as possible. Try to come as close. And then after camels, we are seeing the ass. Ass is an animal who again runs here and there for sense gratification, especially trying to impress the opposite sex. So if anybody is trying to impress the opposite sex, that person is compared to an ass. Shripada Indra Prabhu would say that sometimes it is seen that certain people, they try to sing kirtan to just attract others, or to attract especially the people of the opposite sex when they do kirtan, with their musical ability, their vocal ability, or their mridanga playing skills or harmonium skills. They want to attract. And Sripad Indra Prabhu said that kirtan is not real kirtan. That kirtan, Sripad Indra, there's a lecture on ISKCON Desire, you can hear the Vasanta Panchami lecture. I think it's a 3-hour lecture. Sripad Prabhu says that kirtan is like the mating call of an animal who wants to mate. It's not Shuddhanam. He says it's the mating call of an animal. You know, when cats and dogs, they're in their mating season, they call the opposite sex. It's that kind of, so one should not indulge in that. So such people are compared to the ass. Please continue reading. The general mass of people work very hard.
The general mass of people work very hard, especially in the age of Kali. In this age, the human being is actually engaged in the work of an ass, carrying heavy burdens and driving phela and rickshaws. The so-called advancement of human civilization has engaged a human being in the work of an ass. The laborers in great factories and workshops are also engaged in such burdensome work. And after working hard during the day, the poor laborer has to be again kicked by the fair sex, not only for sex enjoyment, but also for so many household affairs.
So the Srimad
Bhagavatam's categorization of the common man without any spiritual enlightenment into the society of dogs, hogs, camels, and asses is not at all an exaggeration.
It is not an exaggeration. The leaders
of such ignorant masses of people may feel very proud of being adorned by such a number of dogs and hogs, but that is not very flattering.
So materialistic man may be praised by other materialistic followers. Prabhupada says there's no value. There's no value. Okay. Last sentence. The Bhagavatam openly declares.
The Bhagavatam openly declares that although a person may be a great leader of such dogs and hogs disguised as men, if he has no taste for being enlightened in the science of Krishna, such a leader is also an animal and nothing more.
Yes, this is the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, I request our Narharidev Prabhu to please share that lecture of Srila Prabhupada about dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. And we should try to understand this purport and meditate. Am I being like a dog? Am I being like a hog? Am I being like a camel? Am I being like an ass? And we should take advice from Srimad Bhagavatam. We must take advice from Srila Prabhupada. And in our own personal life, we should try to give up the dog, hog, camel, ass mentality as much as possible. Narharidev Prabhu, do you have the book?
Prabhu, I'm using my Kindle, so it's.
Do you have that asterisk with human life is meant for earning values? This life.
The footnote, Prabhu? Yes.
Footnote. I want you to read that footnote and then we'll end the class. Sorry, it went late today. It was very important. Please read the footnote.
The ass is generally engaged by the washerman whose social position is not very respectable. And the specific qualification of the ass is that it is very much accustomed to being kicked by the opposite sex.
No, Prabhuji. So in here, that asterisk is there, and then there's a footnote that says human life is meant for earning values.
Oh, Prabhu, I don't see it in my Kindle version. Sorry.
No problem. Mataji, Aradhya Mataji, you have?
Yes.
Read, that's very important.
Human life is meant for earning values. This life is called Arthadam.
As Prabhuji was mentioning, Arthadam, it can give us the highest benefit also if we use the life proper, human life properly.
Or that which can deliver values. And what is the greatest value of life?
Artha means value, money, and da means to give. Yes. And what is the greatest value of life?
It is to return home, back to Godhead, as indicated in the Bhagavad Gita at 8.15. One's selfishness must be aimed at the point of going back to Godhead. The ass does not know his self-interest, and it works very hard for others only. A person who works very hard for others only, forgetting his personal interest available in the human form of life, is compared to the ass. In the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, it is said, Asitim chaturascheva lakshams जीवजातिषु ब्रह्माद्भिः पुरुषे प्राप्यं मानुष्यं जन्म पर्ययत् तदपि अबलतं जाता तेषाम् आत्माभिमानिनां वर्गाणाम् आनश्रित्य गोविन्दाचरणद्वयम्. The human life is so important that even the demigods in the higher planets sometimes aspire for a human body on this earth, because in the human body only can one easily go back to Godhead. In spite of having obtained such an important body, if one does not re-establish his lost eternal relation with Govinda, Lord Krishna, he is certainly a fool who has forgotten his self-interest. This human form of material body is obtained by a gradual process of evolution to one body after another in the cycle of 8.4 million varieties of life.
So we have not easily gotten this human body. We have received this human body after a lot of evolution. This human body is very valuable. Yes, Mataji.
And the poor man, forgetting this importance of his own interest, involves himself in so many illusory engagements for uplifting the position of others as a leader of political emancipation and economic development. There is no harm in trying for political emancipation or economic development, but one should not forget the real aim of life. All such philanthropic activities must be dovetailed to returning to Godhead. One who does not know this is compared to the ass who works only for others without their or his own welfare in mind.
Yes. So our nate vidhu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. That people don't know that the real self-interest is in attaining Lord Vishnu, Krishna. And then they bhairarthamanina, they run after external things. So from verse number 20, we will continue day after tomorrow, Krishna willing. So I will stop here. Granthara Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Guru. Yes, Gokuleshwari Mataji, please go ahead.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम, जय श्री प्रभुपाद। प्रभु जी, मेरा प्रश्न वर्स 17 से है, जिसमें हमने पढ़ा कि साधु संघ के एक क्षण मात्र से हम भगवत धाम लौट सकते हैं। तो लेकिन प्रभु जी, मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि कभी कभी मतलब हाउ डू वी मेक श्योर कि जो हम साधु की संगति ले रहे हैं उसका फुल एडवांटेज ले सके संगति का, क्योंकि कई बार हमने देखा कि जैसे श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी को बहुत सारे लोग मिले होंगे, बट हर कोई प्योर डिवोटी नहीं है। लेकिन जो बने हैं वो कैसे बने, उनमें क्या क्वालिफिकेशन या क्या क्वालिटीज थी कि वो श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी की संगति लेकर प्योर डिवोटीज बन गए। तो ऐसे प्रभु जी, यही
बहुत सुंदर प्रश्न है आपका, बहुत सुंदर प्रश्न है। एसोसिएशन या संघ, डिवोटी एसोसिएशन या साधु संघ, तो संघ का क्या अर्थ है उसे हमें समझना चाहिए। किसी भी साधु का संग करना या गुरु महाराज का संग करना, उसका अर्थ यह है कि गुरु महाराज से हमारे हृदय में दिव्य ज्ञान का प्रकाश होना चाहिए। दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित हो, जैसे श्री नरोत्तम ठाकुर ने कहा है, दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित हो। हमारे हृदय में दिव्य ज्ञान का प्रकाश होना चाहिए। कैसे? वो गुरुदेव प्रदान करते हैं दिव्य ज्ञान, गुरु महाराज दिव्य ज्ञान देते हैं। तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानम। ये ज्ञान जो है ये दिव्य ज्ञान है। ज्ञानिनः तत्वदर्शी, जो तत्वदर्शी गुरु है, जिन्होंने कृष्ण को देखा है, कृष्ण को जाना है, कृष्ण को अपने हृदय में स्थापित किया है। तुम्हारा हृदय सदा गोविंद वैश्रम। ऐसे जो भगवत प्रेमी साधु पुरुष है, महापुरुष है, हमारे गुरु महाराज या हमारे जो गुरु वर्ग है, उनके साथ हम जब संग करते हैं तो उनका जो भाव है उसे हमें ग्रहण करना है अपने हृदय में, उनकी वार्ता सुनकर। गुरुमुख पद्म वाक्य चित्ते ते कोरिया ऐक्य, आरना कोरी हो मने आशा। हमें दूसरी कोई आशा नहीं होनी चाहिए, दूसरी कोई अभिलाषा नहीं होनी चाहिए। गुरु महाराज के श्रीमुख से, साधु वैष्णव के श्रीमुख से जो हमने उपदेश श्रवण किया है, उसे अपने हृदय में सदैव रखना है। जैसे कोई किसी ने एक बहुत ही मूल्यवान हीरा दे दिया, तो आप कैसे उसे एकदम संभाल के रखोगे? आपके तिजोरी में या बैंक के लॉकर में अच्छे से संभाल के रखोगे, उसको केयरफुली रखोगे। वैसे जो हम उपदेश हमें प्राप्त होता है हमारे गुरु महाराज से, उसे अपने हृदय में रखना चाहिए हमेशा, और उसका पालन करना चाहिए। जो भी हमें आज्ञा मिली है उसका पालन करना, अक्षरशः पालन करना चाहिए। यही एक मार्ग है भक्ति में सिद्धि प्राप्त होने का, अन्यथा नहीं। देखिए, प्रभुपाद जी के भी कई परिकर थे, शिष्य थे, जो उनके पर्सनल सर्वेंट भी थे, उनकी सेवा में, निज सेवा में थे। ऐसे भी थे जिन्होंने प्रभुपाद जी का काफी संग प्राप्त किया। लेकिन जब तक हम गुरु महाराज के वचनों के अनुसार जीवन में नहीं चलेंगे, तब तक आध्यात्मिक प्रगति नहीं होगी। शरणागति का अर्थ यह है दैन्य आत्मनिवेदन। आत्मनिवेदन अर्थात मानस देह गेह जो किचु मोर अर्पिलो तु आपदे नंद किशोर। चाहे हमें 1 मिनट के लिए क्यों ना संग मिले गुरु महाराज का, लेकिन जो हमने सत्संग में बात पकड़ी है, बस उसे जीवन भर उसका पालन करना है, जीवन भर। प्रभुपाद जी को एक आज्ञा मिली कि आप पढ़े लिखे हो, अंग्रेजी का अच्छा ज्ञान है आपको, आप अंग्रेजी भाषा में श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु का जो संदेश है उसे सारे विश्व में उसका प्रचार प्रसार करो। तो श्रील प्रभुपाद जी ने इस एक आज्ञा को अपना जीवन बना दिया, प्राणधन बना दिया, और पूरा अपना जीवन उसी में समर्पित कर दिया, उस आज्ञा को पूर्ण करने में। तार इच्छा बलवान जगत एते थान थान, हो जाए चाहे गौरांगेर नाम। आपकी इच्छा बलवान है हे गुरु महाराज श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद जी, और आपकी इच्छा के बल से सारे विश्व में गौरांग महाप्रभु का नाम लिया जाएगा। तारा इच्छा बलवान जगत एते थान थान, हो ही जाए चाहे गौरांगेर नाम। गौरांग महाप्रभु कहते हैं पृथ्वी ते यत्याच नगर आदि ग्राम, सर्वत्र प्रचार होइबे मोरा नाम। महाप्रभु जी ने कहा, और प्रभुपाद जी श्रेय दे रहे हैं श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद जी को कि उनकी इच्छा बलवान है इसलिए हो रहा है। लेकिन प्रभुपाद जी ने अपने गुरु महाराज की आज्ञा को पूरा करने के लिए अपना पूरा जीवन दे दिया। 70 वर्ष की आयु में वृंदावन धाम को छोड़ के, सेवा कुंज को छोड़ के, राधा दामोदर मंदिर को छोड़ के ऐसे देश में चले गए जहां पर किसी को जानते नहीं थे, जहां पर कोई भक्त नहीं थे, कोई उनके गुरु बंधु नहीं थे, कोई सहायता करने के लिए नहीं था। ऐसे देश में चले गए, कोई उन्हें अनुभव नहीं था विदेश में रहने का। और वहां पर पाश्चात्य देश के जो लोग थे, कई लोग तो हिप्पी थे, उनके लिए श्रील प्रभुपाद जी प्रसाद बनाते थे और उन्हें खिलाते थे अपने हाथों से, और प्लेट्स धोते थे, बर्तन धोते थे। इसे कहते हैं शरणागति। गुरु महाराज के श्रीमुख से हम जो सुनते हैं उसे अपने जीवन में धारण करना चाहिए, और जीवन भर उस आज्ञा का यदि हम पालन करेंगे तो उसी में सिद्धि हो जाएगी, उससे कृष्ण प्रेम प्राप्त हो जाएगा। अपने बल पर मनमानी आचरण करके कभी भगवत प्राप्ति संभव नहीं है। अपने आप को एकदम हीन मानकर, एक कठपुतली की तरह जैसे हमें प्रभु नचाए, यदि हम शरणागति की भावना से भगवान की कठपुतली बने, या आज जैसे हम चर्चा कर रहे थे भगवान के कुत्ते बन जाए, कुत्ता बन जाए, आमी तो कुकुर, तुम्ही तो प्रभु, तुम्ही तो ठाकुर। यदि हम गुरु महाराज के भगवान के कुकुर बन जाए पालतू कुत्ते बन जाए तो फिर हमें सिद्धि मिल जाएगी। जो भी भक्त प्रभुपाद जी को, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कभी मिले ना हो, कुछ कुछ प्रभुपाद जी के ऐसे शिष्य है जो प्रभुपाद जी को प्रकट में कभी नहीं मिले, प्रभुपाद जी का कभी उन्हें दर्शन नहीं मिला, लेकिन उन्होंने प्रभुपाद जी के वाणी का श्रवण किया टेप रिकॉर्डिंग के द्वारा, प्रभुपाद जी के ग्रंथों द्वारा, और अपना पूरा जीवन नौछावर कर दिया प्रभुपाद जी के सेवा में, पूरा जीवन दे दिया, समर्पित कर दिया। तो आज वे गुरु है, आज वे कई सारे लोगों को, भक्तों को प्रेरणा दे रहे हैं। और ऐसे भी है जो प्रभुपाद जी के बिल्कुल निज परिकरों में थे, प्रभुपाद जी के साथ रहते थे, प्रभुपाद जी के साथ उठना बैठना, प्रभुपाद जी की सेवा की, लेकिन जो प्रभुपाद जी के उपदेश है, प्रभुपाद जी के जो वचन है, उनका यदि पालन नहीं किया तो भक्ति के मार्ग से स्खलित हो गए कुछ समय के लिए कम से कम। तो वैसा नहीं करना है। साधु संग रंग तभी लाएगा जब हम जो उपदेश मिला है, जो आज्ञा मिली है, उसका अक्षरशः पालन करेंगे, तभी सिद्धि मिलेगी, अन्यथा नहीं। अपना के हीन ज्ञान अयोग्यता बुद्धि, तारा मिले कृष्ण प्रेम है सर्व सिद्धि। अपना का हीन ज्ञान, अपने आप को एकदम हीन समझकर, अयोग्यता बुद्धि, मुझ में कोई योग्यता नहीं है, योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं पाए तुम्हारा करुणा सार, करुणा न होइले कांदिया कांदिया प्राण न राखी गुहार। हम में कोई योग्यता नहीं है, मुझ में कोई योग्यता नहीं है, मैं पतित बद्ध जीव हूं, लेकिन गुरु महाराज बहुत कृपालु है। श्री गुरु चरण पद्म केवल भगति सद्म, मेरे गुरु महाराज के चरण कमल ये भक्ति का धाम है, और मैं श्री गुरु के चरण कमलों पे ध्यान करता हूं और उन्होंने जो आज्ञा दी है उसका पालन करता हूं। वो आज्ञा पालन करने से हमारा जीवन सफल हो जाएगा, हमें भगवत प्राप्ति हो जाएगी। तो खास बात यह है, साधु संग रंग तब लाएगा जब हम उनके उपदेश को पकड़ लें, उनके वचनों को पकड़ लें और उसे अपने जीवन में, अपने आचरण में उतारें। ये एक ही बात है बस। फिर चाहे हमें 5 मिनट का संग हो या 5 घंटों का संग हो या 5 वर्ष का संग हो, 50 वर्ष का संग हो, खास बात यही है कि गुरु महाराज ने जो आज्ञा दी है उसे जीवन में उतारना है। जैसे श्रील रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी, हमारे प्रयोजन आचार्य, 6 गोस्वामियों में सबसे अधिक श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु का संग उन्हें प्राप्त हुआ। बहुत अद्भुत संग मिला सारे जीवन में श्रील रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी को। एकदम छोटे थे, बाल्यावस्था में श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर उनके घर पे आए और वो नाम महिमा पर उन्होंने प्रचार किया, जब गोपाल चक्रवर्ती ने उनसे तर्क किया था। कुछ वर्षों बाद जब श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी ने संन्यास लिया और फिर कटवा से शांतिपुर आए, तब यदुनंदन आचार्य जो उनके कुल गुरु थे, हिरण्य मजुमदार से अनुमति लेकर रघुनाथ को शांतिपुर ले गए। वहां पर 10 दिन तक रहे और महाप्रभु का उच्चिष्ट प्राप्त हुआ। अद्भुत कृपा। अद्वैत आचार्य जी ने बहुत दुलार किया रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी का। तत्पश्चात पानीहाटी में श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु, श्री राघव पंडित और नित्यानंद प्रभु के जो परिकर थे, उनकी कृपा प्राप्त हुई श्री रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी को। और फिर जगन्नाथपुरी चले गए, वहां पर 18 साल रहे करीब करीब स्वरूप दामोदर गोस्वामी के सानिध्य में, और श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु के साथ रहे करीब करीब 16-18 साल तक। इतना संग अपने गुरु का श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु किसी को नहीं मिला। रूप गोस्वामी 10 दिन, सनातन गोस्वामी 2 महीने, रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी 18 साल। देखिए, लेकिन क्या रूप गोस्वामी और सनातन गोस्वामी ने कम समर्पण दिखाया? और जीव गोस्वामी, जिन्होंने भक्ति शास्त्र सबसे अधिक मात्रा में उन्होंने इस विश्व को प्रदान किया है, अपने कलम द्वारा। जीव गोस्वामी तो ऐसा कहते हैं कि कुछ क्षणों के लिए ही उन्हें दर्शन हुआ था, और उन्हें, वो तो बहुत छोटे थे, 3 या 4 वर्ष की आयु थी उनकी, केवल इतनी कोमल आयु थी। एक बार सिर्फ देखा था श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु और श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु को रामकेली में। तत्पश्चात कभी भी श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु प्रकट में नहीं मिले श्री जीव गोस्वामी को। गोपाल भट्ट गोस्वामी को 4 महीने बचपन में चातुर्मास में संग प्राप्त हुआ था। तो किसी गोस्वामी को कम संग मिला, किसी गोस्वामी को अधिक संग प्राप्त हुआ, लेकिन सभी गोस्वामियों ने अपने अपने क्षमता के अनुसार, अपने अपने जो प्रभु ने प्रेरणा दी उसके अनुसार भगवान की सेवा की, है ना। जीव गोस्वामी को सबसे कम संग मिला श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु का, लेकिन सबसे अधिक उन्होंने श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु का जो सिद्धांत है अचिंत्य भेदाभेद तत्व व्रज भक्ति, उसका प्रचार और प्रसार किया। तो कितना हमें संग मिलता है, कितने घंटों का संग मिलता है, कितने मिनटों का संग मिलता है, वो खास बात नहीं है। खास बात यह है कि जितना भी संग मिले, हम कोई एक आज्ञा पकड़ ले, कोई एक बात पकड़ ले गुरु महाराज से, और बस उसे अक्षरशः उसका पालन करना है, सारा जीवन भर उसका ही पालन करना है, तो फिर हमारा जीवन सफल हो जाएगा, भगवत प्राप्ति हो जाएगी। ठीक है माता जी। हरे कृष्ण। माता जी सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, आपको अनम्यूट करो।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for such a beautiful answer, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
हरे कृष्ण, दंडवत प्रणाम, जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। ठीक है, we'll stop here today. There are no more questions. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, निताय गौर, हरि बोल।